Well, let's talk about the world's population for a moment. Many of the world's 2.2 billion children do face life-threatening challenges. War, human trafficking, discrimination, obstacles because of income that make it hard to fulfill basic human needs. And so we're going to tell you about a guy named David Smith who is really remarkable and has written 2 books. The first one is called If the World Were a Village, and it basically takes the 2.2 billion children and converts it into a world village of 100 people in the book and tells us who the world's children are based on that number. And it's easier for kids and really adults too to get their heads around. And then in his latest book, it's a beautiful one called This Child, Every Child. He helps children understand each other's challenges. And David joins us now via Skype from his home in Canada to share more of the book and the world with us. Hi, David. Nice to see you.
Hello, and thank you for having me on, and welcome from a rainy Vancouver.
Hey, tell us why it was so important for you to write This Child, Every Child, and really what you hope people walk away with on this one.
Well, 2 parts to that question. Okay, it became very important the more I visited classrooms with If the World Were a Village and If America Were a Village, talking about the world's people and what we can learn from looking at the world's people as if instead of 7 billion people or 2.2 billion children, we looked at a village of 100. Children and even teachers asked me all the time, what about all of the rest of the world? What do they eat for breakfast? And what are their lives like? And what is their weather like? And what languages do they speak? And so on. And so gradually, This Child, Every Child developed as an idea in my mind. And then one day, I guess about 3 years ago, I read the entire text of the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. And it was so beautiful. And I was so moved that I asked the director of child protection at UNICEF if I could use it as the backbone for this new book. And she said, oh, yes.
It's beautiful. As you read through the pages, you really get an understanding of the world's struggles, children's struggles. And you also understand some things that are just kind of basic things we take for granted, like birth certificates, that in your book you say 250 million children worldwide don't even have a birth certificate.
That's right.
And the information goes on and on and on. What's the most relevant, the most eye-opening for you in all of this information that you've accumulated?
Oh, boy, that's a hard question. I guess I'm absolutely overwhelmed with the sadness of the numbers of children who are required to work rather than to be children and to go to school and to play. And there are some children who do it voluntarily. They work with their families. And even then, they should be in school. They should be with other children. But then there are a lot of children who don't have an option, and they're either sold to go to work for somebody, or they're kidnapped and taken away to go to work for somebody. Sometimes it's rug factories, sometimes it's explosives, sometimes it's as mine detectors, sometimes it's as tiny little soldiers. I think that part of it is so sad and so awful.
Yeah, I think as parents pick this book up and read it to their children, they'll all have a better appreciation of just how fortunate we all are. Part of this proceeds goes to charity. We're just about out of time. Can you tell me real quick about that?
Well, at the time that the book was getting ready to be published, a charity called One by One, which does a lot of good work for children all around the world, contacted my publisher. They worked out an arrangement whereby a percentage of the proceeds from the sale of the book, at least the North American sales, goes to help literacy and children's welfare issues right now in Haiti, maybe later somewhere else.
Well, it's wonderful. Not only are you buying the book and kind of educating yourself on the world's population, but you're also giving back. David, thanks so much for sharing your gift of writing. The books are beautiful, and we thank you for spending time with us on Smart Family.
I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. By the way, if the world were a village of 100 instead of 6.9 billion people, 21 people speak a Chinese dialect, 10 earn less than $2 a day, 45 have a television, and 47, almost half, do not have enough to eat.